What's up, people? This is Action Jackson, and welcome to Take Action TV. Action! What's up, people? How you doing? This is Action Jackson, and welcome to a chat with a champion. On today's show, I've got Paul. How you doing, mate?
Good.
Nice one. I met Paul on a wonderful course that we were on together, and we were just talking about life, mind, happiness, and everything to do with the inner game. And tell us a bit about yourself, because there's viewers watching, young people watching, parents watching, teachers watching, and this show is literally about inspiring people to take action. That's why it's called the Take Action Show. And I'm all about shut up and take action. Yeah, too many people talk, but they don't take action. So tell us a bit about yourself and your journey and stuff.
Well, I guess my journey started when I did a one-day free course on an NLP thing, and my sister went up on stage, and the guy who ran it, David, he did a phobia cure with my sister, and it blew me away. And
Wow.
I've always liked working with people. I thought I want to do that, so I proceeded to do some learning with him. I did my practitioner and marks practitioner with him.
Yeah.
Hypnosis was a lot of fun, so I did that. But it was along the way through that. When I was a kid, I had a lot of bullying and during school,
Yeah.
and I hadn't realised, but it left me a lot of trauma from that time, which had come up through the studying. So I went to David's, and he was going to do a session with me, but they basically said there's something new I've been looking into called the principles. We can do that instead if you want to go. So we sat down and spoke about how your mind works and how thinking affects you and how your thoughts and stuff. And that was really the start point. And since then, it's been about 2 years. I looked more into it, learned more about it, gone on a journey with David and a small group of people discussing the principles as we're going through. And yeah, that's really been
Powerful.
Transformational for me.
So what phobia did your sister have?
It was gaps in stairs. So the stairs, like you see those metal ones with the holes in between
Yeah,
each of the
oh
steps.
yeah.
It was fear of
serious?
falling through it and stuff, even the little ones. But it was brilliant because we'd gone straight on holiday after that, and going up and down the stairs, no problem.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So Paul's sister had a phobia of gaps in stairs. I'm sure there's a scientific name for it.
I have no idea. Probably
gap in stairs of phobia or something, you know. And she was cured of that.
Yeah, it was because it's just all about how you're thinking and stuff. And NLP kind of approaches it from, it looks as an image in your head, and the image is what's creating the fear. But where we're going with the principles is deeper than that, if that makes sense. It's another step further from that.
Okay.
And in the way that traditional therapy kind of works differently too, because trying to think how to put it in words. When you're looking at thought and you're thinking, the thinking's what's generating all the fear or the stress and stuff like that.
Okay.
Traditional therapy is more looking at the image that you're seeing, the thought that you're seeing, and not the thinking around that thought.
All
so
right.
it's like, that's how to put it into words so I can put this across. It's like if you took, sorry,
Kind of like, is it kind of like thinking about thinking?
Yeah, it's like looking at a stage deeper. So traditional therapy might see a problem, and you'll talk about the problem.
Okay.
To try and get understanding and stuff. But the problem with that is it hurts.
Okay.
And you don't need it.
You're looking at the pain.
It's like the way your mind works with the principles and stuff is, if you fell over and scraped your knee, it instantly starts healing. The platelets start clotting it and stuff like that, and you get a scab.
All right.
Going to therapy is the mental equivalent of once a week going to your doctor, him tearing off the scab, poking around, saying, "Now this bit here is a bit squishy, that bit here is a bit squishy. How's this feel?" And then waiting for it to heal again. Your body heals itself mentally the same way it does physically. The second it's doing it, it starts doing that. And the problem that comes along is most people aren't aware of it. So when they get thoughts related to a trauma or something, it's the same as whenever you're ready to deal with it, it gets presented to you through a thought. And whether you can accept it or not is that sort of stage.
Wow.
So if you can't, you push it away and it goes. But, sorry, I'm going a bit off piece with this.
Because for me, I mean, we talk about phobias, and there's a lot of people who are watching, and there's things you're scared of, and there are things that you don't even realize that you're scared of. So I have a quote that says, in order to win the outer game, you must first of all win the inner game. And there are people who are watching, and they have those dark shadow fears, stress, and it causes stress, and we hear things about depression as well, and whether you're a student or you're a parent or whatever level you're at. Take us into the mind, because NLP is very powerful in terms of how can we do that inside out job? How can that individual recognize?
Well, this isn't NLP, this is principles.
The principle, okay.
It's going through 3 principles. But
okay.
Most people think they live in an outside-in world. So my argument with my teacher made me angry. My homework's making me stress. That spider is scaring the crap out of me.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. It's not the things outside. It's like saying that box is making me really angry because I don't like the colour of it. It's all internal. What it actually is when I see something, you see the homework and stuff like that, you get words like, you see your homework, things like, you start thinking, what if I don't get it done?
Okay.
If I don't get it done in time, am I going to have to get detention, stuff like that. People get stressed at exams. They start thinking, what happens if I don't pass this? What if I don't get the grade I need to go into university and stuff? It's not the exam, it's those thoughts that are coming up when they're thinking about it, which is the pain, which is causing that. And all you need to do is recognize that fact that you're thinking these things, and when you understand it, you don't need to think those thoughts.
Powerful.
So when you think about your exams and stuff, if you find yourself starting to get stressed, it's only because you're thinking these negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And people usually latch onto them because it's something familiar. They feel it makes a feeling, so it must be important. But if it's a negative feeling, all it's doing is making you aware that you are thinking these things.
That's amazing.
So you can just let them go get a cup of tea, go do something you enjoy, and it's just gone. Because you're always...
So it's funny because we want to find out practical ways of really overcoming your overwhelm, because you're right. There's a box in front of me. It's not the box that's getting me overwhelmed. It's my thought about the box. So what I've got to do is to change my thoughts about the thing.
You can look at, football's just happened quite big. You can look at when they're doing the penalty shootouts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you took the kicker, I don't know, I'm a big person of football.
Penalty shooter,
the guy who's kicking the ball. If you look at him, if he's focusing on everything around him, if he's thinking, I've got to do this for the fans, I've got to do this, otherwise they're going to do this, I've got to do this or that. So he's going to be plumping all that pressure on him. Whereas if he just goes inside and just lets himself have that clear mind, any of these thoughts coming in, just let them go on, because thoughts are transient, they come and go. You get thousands of them a day. If you just let it flow instead of trying to focus on one, it's going to be a lot more relaxing, a lot easier to have that focus that they have, that clear mind when they take that shot, as opposed to grabbing every thought that's coming in and then holding on to it. It just makes it far too crowded.
Jeez. So what practical things do you think people can do to be able to, I've heard about journaling, like, gratitude journal. Do you think that's something that can actually impact the way you think about things?
Well, one of the easiest ways to start is just to recognize your thinking. Is just to start to understand it. So when you are finding yourself stressed out or something, or really kind of frustratingly angry at stuff and you don't know why, instead of just keeping that anger there or keeping that stress there, if you just take that moment to step out of yourself and go, why am I so angry? And then you sort of think, well, I'm thinking about this and that. Well, that's kind of daft. So just recognizing it and just letting it go. And that's one of the best places to start, is just recognizing it. Because as soon as you realize that it's just your thinking about that that's making you angry, it's just your thinking that's making you stressed. With depression as well, one of the worst things about it is it feels so real because it's hitting your emotions. And the longer you hold on to this thought, which is making you depressed or making you feel this negative emotion, the bigger it builds. And it seems harder and harder. But it's like when we're talking about the balloon. If you've got a balloon and you start blowing into it, that's your thought. The more you think about it, the more you blow into that balloon, the bigger this thing gets, until at one stage it's all you can see. But as soon as you realise that you're the one that's just holding the end of this balloon and you just let it go, it's gone.
That is true. Wow, that is some powerful stuff. I hope you're listening and taking note, because you're not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You have thoughts, but you're not your thoughts. So being able to think about what you're thinking about, which is like metacognition, I think it is, or one of those big words, yes. Metacognition, thinking about what you're thinking, it actually helps you to be able to handle your thoughts. And this is some powerful stuff here. I mean, tell us a bit about I know you said you went through a journey yourself about, tell us a bit about that journey.
Well, when we were doing the NLP work and we started working about, I found out I had this trauma left from my bullying and stuff. It was whenever I was trying to think back to that time, I just had this big kind of blankness, if that makes sense. Wow. I knew there was stuff there, but it's like someone had put just a big black spot in front of it and just couldn't see through it.
Yeah.
To the extent where I started getting quite freaked out at one stage because I was thinking, why are these here? Why can't I? These are my memories. Why can't I access them stuff? But all we did was we just spoke about thought and how thinking affects things and stuff. And over the year after that, I hadn't really thought of it. None of it ever popped into mind about the bullying, stuff like that. Yeah. I'd got more of realising the stress side of it because I'd gone back to work and stuff that stressed me out before made me laugh because I realised it wasn't my responsibility as other people. Why was I getting stressed out about stuff that other people did? It's not mine. And it was all just me taking on problems inside and making this outside real what was real inside, whereas the other way around. But it was around a year later, he did a one-day event which I went to. And I was discussing it with a guy, Tony, who was on the course, and I suddenly realised then that I'd gotten to the stage that I don't think I would have changed my past. I'd have gone through all the bullying again because it may have caused me pain at the time, but that was gone now. All the pain that I'd taken with me was just inside. And the fact that I'd gone through it means that I can help others that go through that now. So it completely changed, flipped my way of looking at it, and all the negative stuff that I'd associated with it, all those black spots and stuff like that. It was all just my mind, or just much thinking. I was thinking so much about the pain it was causing me to think about it that I wasn't just letting that thought go. And it's so easy just to latch onto it because it feels real. Because we all live internally, and your reality is made by what you think and what you see inside. So anything you think of can feel real as long as you put that emotion to it. As long as it's part of that story you're telling yourself, it can feel as real as anything else. Yeah.
The story. Yeah, that's it, guys. Beware of the story you're telling yourself about your life and your journey, because your stories can actually form your world. And I think it's so important for us, even in this day and age, where there's so many stories floating all over the place, and the brain just sort of sucks it in and creates this dark reality, If you had to sort of like straight to camera advice to someone who's watching right now, who they're in that overwhelmed place, they don't have good management of their thoughts, what advice straight to that camera there, what advice would you sort of give them to kind of help them take that first step, that little mini step, something easy? What can they begin to do today? Not to go on a seminar or to read a book, just that one little step, practical, that they can do right now as they're watching.
Well, first I'd say, no matter what you do, you're going to be fine. Everyone is going to be fine in the end. When you were born 100% perfectly fine, and that hasn't changed since then. You can't get broken, you can't get ill, you can't get messed up by things. It's just you're thinking about that situation. So if there's nothing else, just know that regardless of whatever's going to happen, in the end you're going to be fine, and that you're always only ever one thought away from happiness. Just when it feels bad, just realize that it's your thinking and just let that go. It may seem hard, it may seem scary, but it's something you were born doing, it's something you've grown up doing, you've just possibly forgotten how to do it. And you've focused so much on the stuff that's causing you the pain because it feels real inside that it's almost scary to let go because you don't know what's going to be next. But all that's left is just happiness. So let yourself go.
Wow, that's powerful. You're one thought away from happiness. You are one thought away from happiness. So start thinking about that happy thought. I know this video has definitely helped you in terms of managing your thought. Paul, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. And I'm sure everybody that's watching has grabbed 1 or 2 tips to kind of go away and to live that inside out. You know, I love your first statement. It's not just about the outside in, it's inside out. You know, so we're just leaving that with you today, saying whatever you do, hone in on your thoughts, pay attention, and everything will be okay. Like the song says, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing
is going to be all right.
Yay! So this is me, Action Jackson, saying thank you so much for watching this. Remember that success is not by magic, it's by work. So shut up and take action. See you on the next show. Take care. Bye. Hey, if you like what you see, please click subscribe. Why? Because you're going to get so much more from me, Action Jackson, on Take Action TV.